friends and family of YouTube. Welcome to my little channel. It's called The Sword Rules. Today I'm going to be working on Project Redford again. And yeah, I got my helper out here. She still doesn't have any thumbs though, so she'll probably just be hanging out there for moral support. So this is Project Redford. If you've never heard of it before, my red Ford Bronco. And as you can see, I've been out playing in the snow a little bit with it. She got pretty splattered up, but I'm going to take it and get it washed up today. I have to, because tomorrow is going to have a high of 10 degrees with wind chills around -10. So yeah, the old Canadians up there, they're going to send us a cold blast down for one day, and then we're back up, 30s, maybe even a high of 40 this weekend, which would be really cool. So what do I got going on today? Well, I ended the last video a little short. I didn't cover everything that I did that day, and that's because I could feel myself coming down with a cold, and sure enough, I did come down with a pretty good cold. So I never really finished that one appropriately. I had done a couple more things, but I did an outro anyway. And I'm still, I'm over this cold by a couple of days, but still got, a little throat thing going on here. So I'm going to be clearing my throat a lot, probably. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, what I did last time that I didn't really cover is I did get this fire extinguisher mounted to my, it's kind of a mole panel slash, this is that tailgate table that I did install in on another video. I've got this mounted here. I used the bracket that came with it. You pull up on this red locking pin and the whole thing comes off. I had to drill, I used one slot over here, and then I had to drill a hole there to hold it. But I think that's a convenient place for it. It is better than putting it inside up here. I didn't really like that advertising the fact that it was out there, because all summer long the top will be off of this machine. So I really want it hanging out there. Not that this is any more secure from thieves, but at least it's not like being shown off, right? I did have a little bit of a rattle coming from this handle, and for those of you that don't know me very well, my vehicles don't rattle. No, not happening. So I put this little wrap-it thing around here. It does not affect the use of the device. It comes off super easy. You can just, if I'm running it, if somebody else is running it and they don't get it, doesn't matter. This is just a handle here, and this is your trigger here. So we're good there. The other thing is, and I think it's pretty dark up in there, so I'm gonna go over here and grab a flashlight. I think I got one stashed back here somewhere, yep. And I did get the radio mounted. I think I might have shown a preview of that or something in my last video, but I've got the radio mounted up here on this overhead mole panel. I have to run somewhere here in about an hour, so I did not take the roof panels off yet for today's work, but I'm going to be. What are we doing today? I need to get an antenna, external antenna mounted for this device, and I've been trying to figure out where I'm going to put it. And I've got a couple of choices to work with, and I'd like to go over with you what my choices are and why I chose the one that I did. So the unit comes with this device right here, this antenna. It's a magnetic mount, and you can pretty much put it anywhere you want to. It is a 2.1 decibel strength antenna. And I wanted something a little bit better than that, so I purchased the 3.0 decibel antenna. And if this turns out to be not enough, I don't have a big investment in it. I bought this off of Amazon. It looks to be like the exact same antenna sold by Midland, which is the manufacturer of my radio. So we've got a couple of different choices with this one. If this 3 decibel doesn't work out, then you're going to see a future video on probably like a 6 or 6.5 decibel whip antenna. The problem with those is that the majority of them are 32 inches long, and I don't know where I would mount it on here where it wouldn't, you know, like catch on the garage door when I'm pulling in, or, you know, hit other things. That's pretty long. I don't want to mount down the bumper or anything, and I'll kind of get to that a little bit later. What you need for these antennas to work, same as like a CB radio, this is a GMRS radio, a ham radio, you need a ground plane for the antenna to work up to its full capacity. And the ground plane is a large flat piece of metal, right, which is your vehicle. The more you know. You really have 2 choices here for this. Well, you have 2 different areas, I guess, is what I should say. There's a company that makes a bracket that you can bolt onto this trail marker, and then that unit sits up here. Let me grab that unit and show you, kind of give you a visual as to what that would look like there. Yeah, I don't think I want this little thing hanging out there, right? And then there's this mounting bracket that it comes with, and I'm going to leave the antenna back here for now. This is like a slip fit clamp on thing that, you know, you could slide in on the edge of the hood, right, like right about there, or you could even go behind right there and clamp it in. Then the antenna is using the hood and everything, all the metal behind it, as the ground plane to bounce the waves off of. There's nothing up here that's metal, and they warn against going behind like fiberglass, that kind of thing. You want the antenna to be up as high as possible on the vehicle. I thought about, well, maybe I can make up a bracket, pull this accessory cover off, make up a bracket to have it mounted there. I'm afraid that bracket then might whistle going down the road. That's the same reason I'm not putting an LED light bar up there. They all whistle on the highway. Where does that leave me? Okay, let's go around the back side, and I'll show you what I'm thinking back here. Initially, I was going to put that magnetic mount antenna back here. We've got all this, you know, roll bar that I can stick it to. The antenna could go this way, it could go up. Doesn't really matter. I decided not to use that. Again, it's kind of hanging out there, magnetic mount, and not actually attached to the vehicle. But I have seen, perusing the forums, I have seen guys that mount this type of, these are called, the device that I showed you is called a ghost antenna. I'm not sure why. Maybe I'll fit something in here if I remember to look that up. And, whoops, I got to get you in frame here, don't I? And also then I can run the cable very conveniently up along this roll bar, that this is going to be my best mounting location back here. And I did not wire up the power to the radio yet because for this reason, I need to get the antenna cable run up here. The most convenient thing for me is have everything here that I want to hook to the radio before I start pulling these trim panels off again to make everything permanent. So that's where we're at. And Josie's out here to help. She's sporting her new, semi-new red sweater, which she actually hates. She completely hates wearing a sweater. Poor thing. Yeah, you poor thing. But she does have her Christmas collar on. She's got her little Santa Clauses on there and the snowman, and she thinks she's pretty hip with that stuff on. I found a bolt that will thread right into there. And I got this taken apart here. That would have gone down that way. This, of course, doesn't fit through here. I could drill that out, but then this head doesn't fit down into there. So I think what I'm going to do is just find a big flat washer to put on top of that. But then I'm kind of going to want to paint it black, aren't I? These are the things that happen. This is the things that turns, you know, these little 45-minute jobs into the whole damn day. You heard it here. Look at this, guys and gals. I got out one of my many spare parts hoarding drawers. Black washer. Perfect. That will fit right down in there. The screw bolt, whatever you want to call it, the screw, I guess, fits right in it very nicely. I mean, yeah. Might not be too long of a job after all. All right, I got you guys zoomed in here as far as I can. It's too hard to do one-handed, but I'll show you what I got after I get it clamped down. So we're just gonna get this started up here. I don't think a guy needs to put Loctite in there. But maybe I want to put a lock washer on there. That might not be a bad idea because the thing's going to be vibrating. So let's go grab a lock washer real quick for this. Got a lock washer on there. Found a black one in one of my spare parts hoarding drawers. Tight enough for now. And I think I better go grab that antenna, see what it looks like up there. See what you guys think. And of course I think that's a different size. Once I get that, oh, it's the same size. Excellent. Here's what the antenna is going to look like. Sitting up there. Yeah, that should work. It's up about as high as it can be on this vehicle. And it's got all the metal in front of it to use as a ground plane. So we'll see how it works. If it doesn't, I'll be, I guess, switching to one of those 6 decibel 32-inch antennas. Not sure where I would mount that, but I'd have to come up with something different. So what we have to hold that antenna in place is this hardware here. So let's get that off and get that out of the package and start connecting this bad boy. Got the cable connection out here ready to go. This threads through like that. There's a couple little cutouts to fit the cable out of. I believe I'll go to the outside. Oh, maybe I'll go to the inside. I'll go. It's really hard to do one-handed, just by the way. Trying to keep you guys up here in the thick of things. And then stay there. Got another washer slash nut, whatever you want to call it, threads onto here. And again, really hard to do one-handed and keep the camera on frame. Sorry about that. Okay, there are some flats on here that you can fit a wrench onto, so when I'm ready I'll torque that down. Good, and that goes on there, and then this antenna screws on top of that. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. Then I'm going to be taking this cable, and I should be able to like tuck it down in there, run it forward, and apply copious amounts of zip ties. Got everything mounted and tightened up, ready to go. That ain't going nowhere.
Let's go, that shit ain't going nowhere.
So the flats on this support nut here, this washer nut dealer in the middle, those flats were 24 millimeters. I don't have a 24 millimeter wrench. Socket doesn't work on that, so I broke out my metric adjustable wrench and got that torqued down without sending it through the side window, which was really cool. And made sure this was good and tight. Made sure this swivel adjuster right there is nice and tight. And then cranked that on nice and tight. So we are set and ready to start running some cables. So here's where we're at. I've got the coax cable for the antenna run up in between the speaker and the roll bar and forward from there. You can see the cable up there. I've got it running partially underneath that piece of trim right there for the airbag. Once it reaches this cross member here for the overhead MOLLE panel, it comes in along this cross member, then goes straight forward, and you can see the coax up there running down the middle of the MOLLE panel. And now I'll go around, get on top here and show you what it looks like from on top. Got it running right down the middle, got some wire ties in there to secure it. Coiled up the extra, shot the radio fitting down through that square hole and have it attached to the radio. Now the last thing that's left, of course, is the power. The wire down inside of here, there is, I already have power in there. I have something hooked up there. What did I hook up there? I think I hooked up my radar detector right inside of here. I can pull off of that too. It'd be real easy to run that wire right up here, right inside that piece of trim, and then down, get power. I'm gonna go figure that out, and that's what we'll be working on next, but Hey, we're getting there, okay? We're getting there. I'm not like a machine like I was back when I was 20, you know? Gotta eat an elephant one bite at a time. Hey there. I'm back. It's been about a week. You guys wouldn't know that. Got the old Mortsky Repair sweatshirt back out again for this week. Oh, and I got my Cletus Freedom hat on here. I entered myself into that dual F-150 giveaway that he's got going on right now. I figured, what the hell, spend $20, get 4 entries, four entries, and you know, maybe win one of those awesome F-150s that he's giving away. We'll see. The last thing I got to do on this project is to wire up that radio right there, get some power going to it. And I've got the lid partially off here so that I got some light coming through. One thing I want to check for right away is see if I got a ground up there. So all I'm going to do is take my meter here, set it on continuity, and when I touch these together, you get a beep. That tells you you have continuity. I should be able to use one of these bolts up here for a ground. So that looks like bare metal right there. Now I'll touch this nut or this bolt here. All right, we've got continuity through the chassis to the bracket that holds this molly panel in. So good deal. What about this one? Maybe I can, yep. So pretty much anything up here that I want to hook the ground to. Good deal. I'll shut that off. What I have up here is this wiring. This plugs into the harness that they sent along. And I don't know what the power requirement is on the radio. It could be 12 volts. So I got to show you something there. I will take you over here, show you what we have. So this is the power wire they send along, right? And it has a fuse in line, and it looks like they also send you an extra fuse. That's kind of cool. And then this end plugs in up there to that plug that I just showed you. So I'm going to be splitting this after that plug, and I will hook the black wire here up to the body or the chassis ground up there. I want to make sure this plug stays up above that molly panel, because if I ever want to pull a radio out, I don't want to have to pull the trim apart just to get the wiring disconnected, right? So I'm also going to be cutting this off and putting connectors on here so that I can hardwire it. One thing you have to look out for is that some of these will have a step-down, kind of a step-down transformer inside of them. If the electronic device requires less than 12 volts, let's say it's a 5-volt system or a 9-volt system, then they may step that down in here. And what you have to do is take this apart just to make sure it is a direct connection through and doesn't go to some little circuit board or a resistor. So I'm going to take that apart and double check it, and then take the side panel off the dash, and I'll show you that. Okay, this is good. So this shows a direct connection, which means that 12 volts goes directly into the back of the radio. If it needs less than that, then that is included in the radio circuitry. So next I'll pull that side panel apart. Ford has made this pretty easy to get at. A nice little cavity right here for putting some electronics in. These are just, there's 4 T30 bolts, screws right there, I guess, screw. So we're just gonna back those off quick, and then I'll show you what I got. All right, let's see, maybe you wanna see me struggle with this. Oh, wait, no struggle. All right, plan B, or maybe C, D, E, or F for this project. I'm not really sure anymore. So because of some of the wiring that I'm going to have to do up in there, this big fuse holder here, this inline fuse with the extra fuse captured in the case. That's not going to work because that's not going to fit behind the trim. So I have opted to piggyback off of the low voltage wire that feeds my switch panel. This power wire here, actually it's this power wire here. It's just to energize a relay inside of here. It's not going to pull any voltage, and certainly will not be too much to go through here with a 5-volt fuse in it, because the radio isn't going to pull that much power. So I've tapped into that. We'll put this back in its home, and I'll run that back outside of the right there. And then this long red wire here is going to go through the grommet in the firewall, and we'll start weaving it up through the A-pillar. But to do that, I need 2 hands, so I'm going to have to shut you guys off. Sorry about that. But hey, while I'm not recording, I'm enjoying some Mortsky Repair right there from YouTube, sporting his sweatshirt. Mortsky, if you're looking for somebody to sponsor, just saying. Plan B, C, D, E, and F seems to be coming together pretty good. I've got that wire fished down through there. You certainly can't see it, but it does go through the firewall, through that grommet, along with the other wiring for the control panel. And I've got it coming out here. All I have to do is thread it behind here, up inside of this piece of trim. As soon as I get it up around here, I can put this panel back on, and we're a good 11% farther than we were before. Recording this so that you guys can see some of the struggle bus stuff that goes on with wiring for us Ford technicians. No, not even close. But, you know, running wires so they can't be seen, it's kind of an art. And you gotta be able to, I gotta be able to keep you guys in the frame here. You gotta be able to hide that stuff good, or it's gonna look janky. That's all I'm saying. I got my grab handle back on. That's all covered up nicely. You can't see that red wire coming. I guess I might be able to see a little bit in there. No big deal. It's in the shadows. I don't care. Just like my subscriber database. Now, all I have to do is fish this red wire underneath this panel, fit the tip of my finger in this space right here, so I know I'm not going to have any trouble getting it through there. Same along here, all the way along the top. It looks like that's going to fit up in there nicely, so it's kind of time to pop this section down again like I did at the beginning of the Mole panel install. And if I think of it, I will embed a link up here or over here. I'm not really sure where it'll end up to that video, so you can see that. But I show how to take that panel down in that video, so I'm not going to record that. I'll just pop that down. Okay, update on where we're at. I've got the red wire run underneath this trim panel going up this way, and I've turned the corner with it. However, I want to stop right there and feed the wire from above down to it so I can put a nice weatherproof splice on this, since sometimes I run with the top off and, you know, get caught in the rain or something. So I've got the harness plugged in here, and I'll be running it up here. Real easy to get through this part right down there to the front or to the top of the windshield. It's going to be super easy. Probably just jinx myself. I am going to cut this fuse. I'm probably going to cut these wires right about here because that's plenty, and separate them so I can do the ground wire back up there. I don't need this. This is a 5 amp in here. I looked inside. It's a F5A L 250 volt. So I already have the power coming from the fuse box underneath the hood, and that has a 5 amp fuse on it already. So there's no point in this, and really don't want to double fuse stuff anyway because it just makes you chase some more. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to cut this off, do some stripping, separating, you know, all that kind of stuff. I'm almost done. It's almost done. I can't wait to be done with this project. Hey, I wanted to show you something in case you ever get in a pickle like this. This is the wire, this one that's coming from the radio, and I couldn't get it down through there and kind of around a corner to come out the other side of the trim. So I fed another wire up here and then taped them together, and now we're going to see if I can pull that down through here without it getting stuck. Hey! I'm going to have to put an eyelet on this one, a good size eyelet, so that I can attach it to a ground up here, catch a chassis ground on one of those bracket bolts up there. Chew! I was going to say, never see that again, but there it is. Just like the one that I put underneath the hood. Put a wire in each side, make them meet at the middle, and heat it. And also, I'm going to use this little torch to heat that. I never recommend using fire inside your Bronco, so be careful. Fire up the torch and heat it. You want that center section to get hot first. Melt that solder and just heat up those other ends just enough to get them to shrink up against the coating, the wire coating. Boom, done. Yay, this thing is almost done. Pull this back a little bit, make it stay up there. All right. Gotta get that nut loosened up there, working blind with the nut. I gotta hold it down below here with a Allen wrench. Get this to swing over here. Get the wrench back on there. Get that torque down. Then we will have powerage. 12 voltage. That's good and tight. See how nice this is gonna work? This is all gonna be right up inside of here. I'm gonna wire tie this together. Oh, it's gonna be nice. All right, first of all, got one of those protective coverings on there, so we have to do one of those satisfying peel-offs. Wait for it. Wait for it. Here we go. Oh yeah. Do we have power? I'm going to accessory here, and God willing, we won't blow a fuse. The radio is turned off right now. Yes, I know, doors are open. All right, we should have power. We have power to this, which is what I piggybacked on, the relay power. And we did not have power. All right, guys and gals. I assumed that ground was going to be good. That's the problem. I found the problem. That ground. so you know what happens when you assume something, right? I assumed that that ground was going to be good up there. I didn't test it. And I put that connector in between the washer and the bolt, and it did not have a ground. So that was the problem. I moved it to underneath that washer, tested it. It does have chassis ground. So now let's give this another try. Everybody cross their fingers, please, because I really want this to work. Hey, we got a light. We have lights. Very good. And it's on channel 1. So now all I have to do is figure out how to work this radio. Yeah, I barely cracked the instruction book on this thing for the controls. So that'll be my next thing. But at least it's working. We have power to it. I think it'll show if I transmit. Yep, it transmits. What do I have left? I just have to get this wire put away, put this trim panel back up, and then put all my tools away. I swear to God, I started out with 3 tools, and now I think I have 30 tools out. Always happens on these projects. I'm going to put my seat back a little bit. All right, and then that's going to wrap it up because you guys don't need to see this get put back together. I will do another video on how I use this thing and probably videotape me testing it. So I know this ended up being a little bit of a long video. Sorry, not sorry. And I hope you enjoyed watching me struggle and have successes, 11% of the time. So give me a thumbs up if you like this content on Project Redford, and then I know that I'll just keep moving forward with that, with all the different projects that are going to come up with this beautiful red Bronco. Subscribe if you want. I don't really care. Other than that, have a great rest of your day.